So like I told you guys, we're practically going to be talking about anything on this channel, and I wanted to talk about one of my favorite childhood cartoons growing up, Scooby Doo. If you haven't heard of Scooby Doo, I don't know what to tell you, because Scooby Doo is like one of the most iconic cartoons of all time. I remember watching that so much growing up, like almost around the same amount that I watched SpongeBob, because I was a huge fan of SpongeBob. Scooby Doo was a show that I watched every chance I got when it was on Cartoon Network or whatever network it was on. Since we're on the topic of Scooby Doo, not only the cartoons, but also the movies as well. And I think the movies that I really liked, besides, the animated films, because I loved a good majority of them, I would probably have to say the original live action Scooby Doo, the one that we got in the early 2000s, like Scooby Doo, and then also Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. Those two live action Scooby Doo films are so damn good. I can rewatch them every single time. Like, I just love Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo is like such an awesome series where you got Velma, Shaggy, Daphne, you have Fred going off, doing his own thing, because, it's been a little mystery for years figuring out exactly what he wants to do with Daphne. But that's a story for another time. Basically, what I'm trying to say is just having these group of teenagers going on mysteries, trying to solve them, trying to figure out exactly who the person behind the mask is. It was always so entertaining. And then you also had Scooby-Doo and Shaggy just going off by themselves, getting into a whole bunch of shit where they're making their food, which I still remember as a kid, just watching Scooby-Doo on a regular basis. I always remembered as a kid, just seeing like that huge stacked sandwich that Shaggy and Scooby used to make all the time. I was like, damn, I really want to make one of those one day. And I also know it's probably not realistic for me to eat that whole thing whole like they did, obviously. Just the thought of like making a sandwich like that and adding any kind of meat you wanted on there, like if you wanted ham, if you wanted turkey, if you wanted chicken, if you wanted bacon, whatever the case may be, however you wanted to customize that sandwich. It's just the thought of it, I was like, oh my god, dude, like I really need to make one of these things. It's just the kind of things that you see as a kid where you're like, damn, that's so cool. Like, I'm seeing Shaggy and Scooby make like this huge ass sandwich. Like, I really need to get myself one of those. And I would not be surprised in the slightest if there's like any recipes online, because I see those videos that people make on TikTok where they take inspiration from like cartoons that they watched and they make the food that they see there. So I would not be surprised if I stumble across a video one of these days trying to replicate one of the sandwiches that Shaggy and Scooby used to make all the time, or any kind of thing that Shaggy and Scooby used to make all the time, because Shaggy and Scooby were so random, and they are also my personal favorite characters from Scooby Doo. I mean, how can you not like Shaggy and Scooby? They're hilarious, and it's always fun to see what they're doing throughout the show. Obviously, you got Daphne, Velma, and Fred just making sure everything's orchestrated correctly when they're trying to catch the criminal, the person that's hiding behind the mask, trying to set up all the booby traps so they can make sure they capture that person. But it's just always more interesting to see exactly what Shaggy and Scooby are doing. They're either eating, or they're just causing a lot of mayhem, or they're just goofing around or whatever. They're getting into a whole bunch of shit. I just really love Scooby-Doo, man. Like, I can honestly just lay in my bed or sit on my couch and just watch a whole bunch of Scooby-Doo cartoons. Like, I remember one of the movies that I had a good memory of when it comes to the animated films of Scooby-Doo that I really did like growing up. I remember it was one of those films that I watched all the time whenever I had the opportunity to watch it, because they aired like a huge amount of Scooby-Doo movies on Cartoon Network whenever I was watching it growing up. But it was the movie Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, where you're pretty much going through like each part of the world, pretty much. Like, I recall from my memory that I can remember, like, there was like this little medieval area that you were at. You also ran into like different versions of yourself, which I believe there was like a version of Shaggy with a red shirt on. Like, it was just so interesting. It was so entertaining. I just really loved that film. Like, it always made me laugh every single time. And also, one of my favorite cartoons, I would have to say, like, because there was a whole variety of cartoons. There was Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? There was Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. But I do recall that the Scooby-Doo that I did watch a lot, and it was on, so it was kind of hard not to really watch it, because it was a show that they constantly aired every single chance that they got, which no problem with that because I love Scooby Doo, man. But I would have to say it was Scooby Doo, where are you? Like, Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Yeah, you got me singing here right now, so enjoy it, man. You know, round of applause for me for singing right there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Getting back to what I was discussing, that was the one that I remember watching. Like, that was the classic Scooby Doo, and I believe that came out in the 1960s or 1970s. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember on the top of my head, but that was the one that I was watching quite a bit, and I really did enjoy that Scooby Doo cartoon because it was so fun, man. Like I said, just watching Scooby Doo as a whole, it just brings a lot out of you. It makes you feel energetic, it makes you feel entertained. I always loved the mystery aspect of it because I always enjoyed, like I mentioned earlier, following him around, seeing what kind of things you're going to encounter, seeing the kind of relationships that they build with characters throughout the film. Like, if we're talking about the original Scooby-Doo live action movies, I still remember when in the first film they were going to this island and then they encountered this weird looking alien thing. I don't remember the name of it. And then you also see Shaggy start to build a relationship with this girl there, and it was just a really good film overall. It just pretty much brought Scooby-Doo to life. Like, it was showing everything that people loved about Scooby-Doo, putting it in a little pot, mixing it, and just throwing it out in the movie theater for everybody to watch. It was pretty much giving the love that Scooby-Doo definitely deserves, because Scooby-Doo definitely deserves a lot of love, and I felt like those two films captured Scooby-Doo perfectly. Like, even with Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, that was a film where you were getting a lot of the villains that you see in Scooby-Doo, like Cyclops monster that you see classic Scooby-Doo characters. Like, if you think of a classic Scooby-Doo villain, that's what makes Scooby-Doo like one of the best cartoons of all time. Like, it gives you a reason to watch it. It's entertaining. There's not one person that I've ever ran across that hasn't said that they didn't like watching Scooby-Doo, because even though you didn't like watch Scooby-Doo all the time like I have, for example, you definitely can tell that Scooby-Doo left an impact within cartoons, like pretty much like showcasing what cartoons really are for not just like a young audience, but also people that have like a nostalgia growing up, just rethinking and remembering all those moments that they had with Scooby-Doo growing up. And there's definitely a ton of memories that I can remember with the series. Like, Scooby-Doo is like one of those cartoons that I hold close to my heart, and I definitely need to get a Scooby-Doo shirt, like a new one eventually one day, because this one's kind of like wearing out. But Scooby-Doo is like one of the most fun I've ever had watching a cartoon ever. Like, I just love the energy in Scooby-Doo. Like, I feel like that's what it really comes down to, is the energy in Scooby-Doo. That's like what really draws me in, and I'm so glad to call myself a fan of Scooby-Doo, because Scooby-Doo is awesome, man. Like, if you haven't had the opportunity to check Scooby-Doo out, if you haven't had the chance to check out the live action films, because I'm mainly talking about the ones that came out in the early 2000s, not like the newer ones, because I really wasn't a fan of those. Like, they're like to me. It's just the ones I grew up with more, which could be because I'm a little biased with them, because it brings back nostalgia and I grew up with it. But if you haven't checked that out, man, I mean, check that out. I mean, Matthew Lillard's in there. The dude is awesome. I mean, he still voices Shaggy to this day, which is really cool, because you would have thought, you know, at first he was just playing the live action version of Shaggy and then that was going to be it. But no, he actually takes part in the cartoon. He actually continues to voice the character, and that's really cool to see how dedicated he is to being Shaggy, and I would definitely love to meet him one day. I did miss an opportunity on that because I didn't know what the horror convention that I normally go to each and every single year was at the time, and he was actually one of the guests. So I would have absolutely loved to meet him, because he seems like a really awesome guy. Because I remember I saw clips of him at that convention, and he was just waiting there, taking his time, wanted to make sure he was there to meet everybody, because he really cared about his audience. He really cared about his fans, and that was awesome to really see, just showing how much passion and love he has for not just taking part as being Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, but the portrayal of characters that he had. Yeah, man, you gotta check out Scooby-Doo. Please check out Scooby-Doo. And if you guys have any thoughts you want to say on Scooby Doo, like if you guys have any memories you want to share with me, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know your favorite Scooby Doo animated film. Mine happens to be Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase. So if you guys have a different Scooby Doo film that you guys want to share with me that you really did like, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure to let me know anything overall on Scooby Doo that you want to share with me in this video. But other than that, that's all I got to say on Scooby Doo. So make sure to follow me on all my social media. That means my Twitter and my Instagram. That's always the best way to reach me. That's where I'm most active. So make sure to follow me on there. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content on here. We're doing daily uploads and I'm really enjoying putting out content with you guys. I love showing you guys my energy. I love sitting down in this chair just talking about the things I love, because as you saw in this video, I'm going to be talking about pretty much anything that's on my mind, because I don't want this channel to just be dedicated to one thing where I'm just talking about that every single day or every couple days. Like, I want this to be a channel where you guys have a variety of content to go to. So just like this video, if you guys happen to be big fans of Scooby Doo and you want to hear someone else's opinion on it, like how someone else feels about it overall, you know, you got this video to look to, and you also have other videos that I put out on the channel. It's just a whole bunch of things, because a lot of videos I make on this channel just moving forward to give you guys a little message of what you're going to expect on here. It's just going to be things that I'm very passionate about that I want to share with you guys. So if you enjoy what you see here, make sure to subscribe. You are currently at 21 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for all the support. I don't know what I would do without you guys, because you guys are awesome and I love interacting with you guys in the comments. I realize this is still a small channel, but we're going to continue on growing and growing and growing as a community, and that's the best part about it. And also, click on that notification bell so you are informed of whenever I upload a video, so you guys aren't missing out on it, because I realize the YouTube system can be a little funny, so be sure to click on that. But other than that, that's honestly all I have to really say for this video. So I hope all the guys are having a fantastic day, wherever you guys are, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.